do it.
Eighth grader. Also swim next year.
Maybe we'll see the calls after the transportation.
Alright.
Jamie, are they out there?
Yes.
Is
Do you want
Trixie
them
there?
in here?
Yeah, they can come in. So because they'll be right back. Thank you.
All right, I call this meeting in order at 6 o'clock. We do have a quorum. Item 3 is I need to approve the agenda.
One quick note on the agenda. We have item C in action items. We can remove. It's no longer necessary. We received full approval on our amendment to the Department of Homeland Security this morning, and so there's no need for I guess what would be like a third policy review. So I think we're in the clear for now. So that doesn't need to be on there. And recommend approval beyond that.
I'll make a motion to approve without item C.
Second.
Aaron made the motion, Bob seconded it. All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed, the same. Motion passes. Item 4 is the board's common message. The Owens School Board strives to provide an environment where students can be happy, healthy, and awesome in their educational pursuits. We believe that each student can graduate ready for college and/or a career. To do so, we will provide a safe, nurturing, and engaging learning environment that meets individual wellness, social, and emotional needs. Item 5 is any district resident who'd like to speak to any item on the agenda. And 6, presentations. Ms. Reed, you're on.
That's you.
Okay. I brought some little helpers with me. Thank you for the opportunity to come tonight. Mr. Amos asked each TLC member to present something, and I think one of the best ways is to hear from the kids. They're the true speakers of our district, and they are really excited to talk tonight. So I love teaching math in my classroom, and I use math rotations in my room. So each child does 4 rotations daily. They're going to talk a little bit about those. Some of the programs that we use whole group are with the Clever app. We have a fluency game called 99 Math that practice their math facts. And then we also use Kahoots where they work in groups to solve math equations. As a math lead this year, I will be helping the elementary team find a new curriculum, so adopt a new curriculum. And 2nd grade is actually kind of working with a new series right now. And it's the old series, but the new edition. So we're kind of finding out what we like and what we would want to fix, if we were to fix something else. So that's just kind of about math this year. I will let these 2 cute little helpers introduce themselves.
My name is Bella Johnson and I'm in 3rd grade. My name is Bella Johnson, I'm in 3rd grade, and I love being an Orange Husky because I like our school colors. My name is Holly Fink, I'm in 3rd grade. I love being an Orange Husky because I like real love. We are excited to tell you about math in the street section of the classroom.
The first part of my math lesson is always a whole group lesson. So whatever standard we're working on for the day or topic that we're working on, I always do a mini lesson with the whole group. And from there, they move into their rotations. So how I put them into groups depends on the standard that we're working on and the pretest that they took and how they scored on that pretest. So if they need a little extra boost with that topic or that standard, I meet with their group first. That way they get a little extra time with me and they don't necessarily leave my group until they have that understanding. Then they do 3 other rotations, and my highest level of kids work on their work map first. So they're working on their skill first and they meet with me last. That way, if I can boost their enrichment or help them in any way, make it a little bit harder for them, that's how I do that. So they meet with me last. So, all right, girls, you ready? You're up.
Emily.
You're fine.
Emily's math teacher. At Miss Reed's table, she helps students with math, and we work together to solve problems. We work in a small group. When we are ready to move on, we go to our seat and finish our work. A is at your seat. We work on a daily work map, then we take it to Miss Reed and set it in the basket on her table. When she can, she corrects anything we need to fix. When we turn in our work map, we start our next rotation, which is technology. If we have to fix a problem, Miss Reed calls us to get our work and we fix them. T is for technology. We work on ST Math. I like ST Math because I like the levels where I subtract and add. ST Math helps us learn a skill, and then we get it right. We move on to something new. ST Math teaches us new things every day. H is for hands-on. During hands-on rotation, we play math games. Some of our favorite math games are Turkey Race, Spaghetti and Meatballs Added, Place Value Math, and 7, 8, and 9, and Rack Up. These games help us work on the skill we are working on in math. We are going to teach you a math game. This is called the largest number place value. We learned this game when we learned about numbers 2 and 1,000. Bella is giving you a partner or a paper-free bag of cards. When you get the cards, please mix them up and put them in a pile within your purse. You will each take 3 cards. When you have
Mix them up.
Each get 3 cards.
Mix them up.
Yep,
Mix 'em
mix
up.
them up first. You may want to shuffle them first.
We all are.
Hurry.
Here, Mama.
When you have your 3 cards, look at your numbers and try to build up the highest number possible. When you have your number built, lay your cards on the table. When all players have the cards laid down, you take turns saying your number. If someone says their number incorrectly, please be polite and ask them to try again. Whoever has the biggest number wins that round and gets all the cards. When all the cards are gone, the game is over.
Ready? Go one card at a time.
No, do all 3.
All 3?
Because it's place value to 1,000. So you have to make your biggest number with all 3 of your cards.
962.
That's good. 811.
811.
So you win.
Did I win?
Who wins?
Yes.
Is that how you count it?
No, so this is like
So this-
hundreds, tens, and ones.
Okay, so did I do it right?
Yeah.
Okay,
So who wins? Tell them who wins that round. Yeah, so
Yeah.
she gets all the cards.
so the ace is a one.
Okay, all the cards.
This is a one.
Give me your cards.
It's like four.
Just keep winning. You're gonna get bored.
Never. 975.
Oh my gosh.
2 rounds in a row.
Brutal.
Let's see if we can go 3 for 3.
Oh boy.
I'm not competitive. I'm not competitive.
It's a rigged deck.
Oh no. Yes.
Oh.
3 for 3.
Oh, sorry, I
Oh, we're still doing more little bitty numbers. This is what I second round.
She had terrible cards.
Hey. Can't be too many 9s left in there.
No. Oh, I lost a round.
Flemish.
Last round?
Yep. That's it.
One more round.
Come on, you go.
One more round.
Okay, Bella, do you want to collect them?
Look how many cards I won.
Tell the next part.
What do we tell you? Forgot to do that.
Bella has one more thing to say about the game.
You don't need to count your cards because in math games there's no winner. We play to work on math skills.
Hear that, Mr. Rain?
We don't keep score.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you.
That's all we have for you. Thank you for listening to us. These guys worked really hard the last few days before school getting their things written. They chose everything they wanted to say, so I just typed it up for them. But I'm really proud of them. I'm glad they chose to come with me tonight. So we love math, so we're happy to present anytime. If you want to learn a new game, come to second grade. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, that's no public hearings.
Nope.
On to discussion.
All right, I got a couple quick presentations here. I'll run through some data and then open up for kind of discussion or questions if you have any. So starting in, it's about the second week of September, the state opens up the test software where we take all of our student data and plunk it into their system. And we always get reports back that our data doesn't match up with how it's supposed to look. And there typically are hundreds of errors that we have to solve and fix and figure out. And then over the course of 3 weeks, our secretaries run that data through. And then it goes to a secondary state database, which is like causes level 2 errors that I work with them on getting solved. And then once it's through that, gate, it goes to certified enrollment. And this year we had the cleanest run, the best job our secretaries have ever done. We were certified, ready to certify about a week and a half ahead of time, which was awesome. During that time period, Michael and Karen meet with all the secretaries and the principals individually for about 60 to 90 minutes. And they go through like line item on kids. So open enrolled kids, students that we're educating that are maybe in a foster care situation or getting educated in Mason City or Cedar Rapids for a variety of reasons in a different care facility. And we just have to track every single one of those kids. And by the time it's all said and done, there are about 1,300 individuals that we have to kind of know where they're at specifically. And the easy ones are the ones that are here because we typically hopefully know where they're at. But it's just never easy. And so by the time all that's said and done on October 1st, this year was October 2nd because that was a Sunday. That's our count day where we officially get to count kids. And then we have a week and a half to certify that count. In that time period, all the other school districts are putting their information in, and the data at that point starts to commingle. So our data is intermixing with all the other school districts' data. So we have, 7 or 8 school districts that we have kids open enrolling to. We have like 23 school districts that kids are open enrolling from us, and all of our data has to match. And so we have a week and a half to get all that to be happy. And then we certify, we hit that button, and there's no fireworks. There's no like little things that pop on your screen like you did it. And it really feels like it's a marathon every year to get there. But ultimately, it drives our budget. It drives a whole bunch of stuff that we do. So we've got a pretty good year this year. I just wanted to kind of run through what it looks like on our end. So a couple years ago, Michael and I went to an ISFIS training to show an enrollment projection. So on the left-hand side, you see the grade level, and then those blue numbers are what we're projecting. And so that's back in 2022. You can kind of see what we're thinking about for the projections. And the reason I wanted to show you this is because on the bottom where it has the total, 13, 16, 13, 10, 13, 15, you're going to be able to see how close we were in terms of guessing or projecting those numbers and where we think we're going to be still over the next few years. Before I get there, this is our enrollment since 1972. We were missing 5 years in the 90s. I don't know where those years went or how to find that data, but there is a missing gap there. But over time, you can see where Oelwein used to be and then where we currently are. I think the good news really is that over the past, not just 10 years, but 15 years, we're pretty flat. And I think compared to a lot of other rural school districts, that's a good sign. I mean, just that we're the only schools that are really growing are in the suburban areas adjacent to metro areas. Everybody else is pretty much shrinking. So the fact that we're not and we're pretty flat, I think is a pretty good sign. And our projections are continuing to show that we're going to, I think, remain pretty flat. So this is just 10 years. Shows even a better picture of just how stable we are. We haven't had a swing of more than 30 in any one year, one way or another. That's really good for budgeting. It's really good for hiring. It's really good for just predicting where things are going. All right, so this is the screen that there's hundreds of bits of data, but the state puts this screen together. So this is where kind of what I look at in terms of where are we at, and then where are we at from previous years. And though the number on the right-hand side, or actually the current number and the number on the right-hand side, will change. So as school districts are putting their data in, that will continue to update. So you check it every day during that time period, because you're looking for nuances, things that you're not expecting, because if you get it wrong, it causes a whole ripple effect of trying to fix it later. Requires audit adjustments, requires talking to the Department of Ed, which is never fun. Trying to figure out how to make sure you get the numbers right so that we get our accurate budget and every dollar that essentially is attached to every single one of those kids. All right, so the very top number, so those are students that are in our district that are enrolling in our school district. Like, so they live in our district and they're coming to school here. And you can see that we had a change, which we're predicting. We had a few more out in the past few years that we would have liked. And then the next one down, you can see the growth in students attending other school districts. So we have seen an uptick in open enrollment out by 21 kids this year over last year. And that's typically due to the fact that it's kind of the Wild West, that people can move and open enroll whenever they want. And then CPI, dual enrollment's not super important. We don't have any kids in residential facilities. So actual enrollment, so this is what we would classify as our certified enrollment. So there's a lot of other things that go into actual enrollment. We get that's where our concurrent enrollment or supplemental weighting lives. So every student that takes a college class gets like a percentage of an FTE or a percentage of a kid attached to the supplemental weighting, and then they turn that into dollars. They turn it into dollars by giving you more kids to count in the weighting formula. So that's why that number is a little bit bigger. But the number that I like to look at is down below, where it's total school-age kids provided instructional programs and services by your district. So this is the number of kids that are walking into our doors or online every single day, butts in seats, that we're educating. And that we're up almost 12 kids last year over this year. And that's primarily driven from the fact that we're plus 40 in our open enrollment in. So I kind of skipped over that. The non-resident public school students attending our districts, this year's 93, last year was 53, so we're plus 40. So we lost 21, but we're plus 40 in terms of our open enrollment. So we net out a bigger gap. And then that shows up in that 11 or that 12 kids that we're totally counting. So at the end of the day, all that says is that we should expect a little bit more money this year than we got last year. So I said a lot, but that's what it means.
How do you have fractions in there?
Great question. Yeah. Because not all kids are full-time enrollments. So if you have a student that is a homeschool student that runs cross-country for us, we get to count them as 0.10 or 0.1 of a student. They take chorus and band. Now they're 0.3. And so that's how those kind of fractions of numbers come in there. And then I can't show you. I was going to have it up there, but our supplemental weighting goes down to the hundredths of a percent. So it really gets funky. Good question. So limited English proficiency, that would be like our ELL funding. And I don't even understand how they come up with that formula, but it's based on years of services. So you don't get any funding in the first year, but then once they're identified, then you get funding in years 2, 3, I think, and 4, and then it starts to taper off over time. So that's why that's like 1.41. So it could be 6 kids, but depending on where they're at in our system and how long they've been here, the funding formula trails over time in terms of how much money we receive to educate them. It's a really stupid system because we have to have those programs for when they're here. Like you can't invent them if the kids show up. Like you have to, like, so you need the funding now to have the program so when they do come, you can serve them. But they fund it not only backwards a year, it's like almost 2 years by the time we actually see any funding. There is some mechanisms through the SBRC that you can get on-time funding, and we do some things with that, but you guys passed a resolution earlier this year to kind of help with that, but it's still a little bit goofy. Just thought it'd be of interest. Everybody always wonders where have all those, those 156 kids, where are they going? So those are the school districts that our students are open enrolling to by grade, and then the total count on the right-hand side. So 50 kids going to Independence, 34 going to West Central, 28 going to Wapsie, 13 going to East Buck, so forth. Pretty good number in the bottom there. I always look at the most important number for me in that whole thing is kindergarten. It's tracking those kindergartners in the bottom left-hand corner, because once they're in kindergarten, chances of us getting them back ever is pretty slim. So keeping that number below 10 is always a good target for us. Last year we had a bad year, hitting 20 there, because last year was big. That group was big last year as kindergartners. So trying to keep that as down as low as possible is important. There's our open enrolled in. So that's a pretty big change. A couple of years ago, that was only like 3 or 4 districts. Now it's pretty significant. Anamosa, Diagonal, Maquoketa Valley, Postville, Waterloo, Cedar Falls.
3 kindergartners.
Yes, 3 kindergartners. Yeah, and you can see, pretty nice numbers down here in the high school level. 18 seniors, 22 juniors. Pretty stable down here, enough to kind of keep building that, and then see a pretty big bounce at the high school level. This is brand new this year. First time we've seen this report. So we do get to see every student that is applied for the education savings accounts and where they're attending. And then there are dollars attached for each one of those. It's like $1,200, I think. Is that right? Mm-hmm. So we do get funding for every single one of those. So that's why we get to see this report. I have access to, you click on these little blue buttons, and we can actually see the actual students' names and student IDs and birthdays and all that kind of stuff, but there are no surprises in there. Most of them were already in the system, were already using private school prior to the ESAs. So I think the good news for us is that it didn't change anything in particular in terms of like losing students to a parochial or private school. That's my last slide. Any questions or anything you guys want to see more of? Okay. All right, the next thing, just first time it's ever happened since I've been here. We are going to have a contested AEA election. So Dr. Updegraff has represented our district, which is us, North Fayette Valley, Starmont, and West Central for like 16, 20 years, about as long as you've been on the board. So you guys will we will receive a ballot. So there'll be 2 candidates, and there'll be a little bio they send on each candidate. And then as a board, you guys get to cast 1 vote. So you can discuss the candidates, and you guys can motion and cast a vote, and then you take that vote and we send it back to the AEA, and your vote is weighted against the other votes for the other districts. And you can see, so Oelwein gets 37% of the vote, North Fayette Valley gets 39% of the vote, Starmont gets 16, and West Central gets 7. Interestingly, though, it's based on population of the district, not enrollment of the students. Which is why, so North Fayette Valley is a little bit bigger in terms of their population base, but have fewer students. So that's how it goes. So that was interesting. So once they're putting together the kind of the, it's new for them too. I'm not sure they've ever had, at least in recent history, a contested election at their end. I think they're trying to beg people to run for their board. So they're going to collect some information, kind of some bios on each candidate, and then send that out to all the boards so you guys can review it all before the board meeting. So just thought that was interesting. Yeah, that's it.
All right, on to consent agenda items.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Karen made the motion, Joe seconded it. To approve the agenda as presented, any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed, the same, motion passes. Item 10 is to approve request for SVRC.
Yeah, this is what Mr. Eng kind of touched on there when he was talking about the English proficiency. So we looked at this last month, so it feels like deja vu it is. The application was updated 2 days after our board meeting. And when I brought it to you in September, it was showing $0, and now it shows $7,048.08. So it was worth I'd bring it back to you anyway, but it's definitely worth bringing back to you to seek your approval on it, and then I'll send these minutes over to the SBRC, and we'll have this box checked for the year. So,
Recommend approval.
I move to approve request for the modified SBRC amount, $7,048.08.
Joe made the motion and Joey seconded to approve the request as presented in discussion. All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed, the same. Motion passes. B is to approve the trip to Costa Rica.
Last year, the board approved us to take a trip to London. And so we took 17 kids to London this year, and as soon as we got back, they could like, tell me where we go next. And I'm like, well, not anywhere for a while. They're like, no, I'm graduating soon. We need to go somewhere now. And so I talked to them and said, well, what do we want to do? Where do we want to go? The STEM trips that were available were not as good as I would like to hope, and I'm like, okay, what else can we learn about? And so this one is a little bit different. This is two different things. I am exploring a different company that we went through last year because this one is a little bit more cost effective. Their prices were a little bit more inexpensive, and I talked to other teachers after I went the first time. I'm like, okay, who else have you traveled with and what else have you done? So I've gotten some more experience. And this was another well-known company that was a little bit more cost effective. And so I looked at some of their trips, and they offered a volunteer experience. And I'm like, okay, so get our kids out and get them exposed some more with some volunteer experiences. Michael, you can just click through and I can talk as we go. So what I'm proposing is a trip March 14th through the 21st. Right now I have 17 kids that are interested in this. And we'll be going to Costa Rica for 8 days. Like last year, our dates are a little bit flexible, where they're going to be putting us with another group to travel with, and so they don't finalize those dates until the very last minute. If you go through, there's some, so you can skip this. This is a little bit why I'm excited about traveling, and the big thing is because the kids just love to do it and what they can get from it. And why is it good for the kids? It gives them kind of a worldview, gives them personal growth, and some life skills. My favorite moment from our trip to London is I get on the plane with a kid that's never flown before, never left Iowa, And we are on the first leg, and he leans over and Mrs. Hadley, this is the best day ever. And then almost every day was Mrs. Hadley, this is the best thing ever. And he was just so excited every day about everything. And I've never seen this kid excited about anything ever. Like he sits in the back of my class and everything's just like bleh. And he loved every minute of it. And so I'm excited just to continue to open these opportunities to kids. If you keep going, it tells a little bit about our itinerary. Why I chose Explorica, the big thing was they included a little bit more for a lot less. And so that was a nice thing. They still have all of the things that the other company we went with has. I think the next one shows some of the stuff that we're doing. So in our 8 days, we will actually explore a lot of the countryside. We'll be staying in, when we went to London, we just explored London. This time we're exploring a lot of the country. We're gonna go see the volcanoes, we're gonna be in the cloud forest, we're gonna go down to the coast, visit some hot springs, a little bit of everything. As far as volunteer experiences, those will kind of be set along the way, but we'll be doing 3 different volunteer opportunities. So one will be working in a school there, which I went on a trip that was very similar to this about 10 years ago with a group of students. And going to the school was their favorite thing, like better than going to hot springs, better than going to the zip lining. I'm like, okay, what was your favorite thing? Going and playing with the kids at the school. They just loved that. Some of the other things that we might be doing is replanting part of the rainforest there. So going in and working with the naturalists there and going in and planting the rainforest. And then working with a local town and seeing what we can do to like help with their community gardens and different issues there. So if you're just reading through, there's different things that we'll be doing and places that we'll be going. And just pictures of kids doing that kind of stuff. Everything's kind of included for them. Their airfare, their meals, their hotels. Once they pay the cost of the trip, this time even their tips are included. And so once they pay the cost of the trip, the only thing they have to do is get to the airport, get home, and from the airport and pay any of their spending money. Which some of them, that was $1,000, and some of them it was $100. Kind of depending on where kind of family they came from, so. And that's what I talked about there. I think that's kind of it in a nutshell. I just got through in a few extra pictures so you could kind of see what things look like and those kind of things. Kids are very excited about this opportunity. There's a few repeat kids that went to London that are going back again. I want to say like 5 of them, and then 12 of them are fresh faces that are like, hey, I want to do this. We are just taking current sophomores through seniors, gives them a little bit of time to grow up and experience things, and let me get to know them before we go too, so I can lay some eyes on them. So they can earn some high school credit while we go. That is an opportunity that we took advantage of last time, so we're working on that too. I think that's about it. I don't think there's a whole lot else I had in there. The cost, if anybody is interested in that. Any questions I can answer?
Best trip I ever took. We went in 1999, people love Americans. There was a murder for the first time ever down in one of the major cities, and the people were appalled. Mount Ariel is beautiful, absolutely. The wildlife is amazing. The coffee is top of it. It's just everything about it. It's just a great country.
Yeah.
It is.
We'll have to bring back some coffee for everyone. We'll go to a coffee plantation and tour that. Thank you.
Thanks, Bethany. Yeah, I really appreciate the work that Ms. Hadley does on coordinating this. It's a ton of work, coordinating and planning and taking all those parents' children, putting them on a plane and flying across the country. I think it's an incredible opportunity for our kids that we have somebody willing to do this, and now 2 years in a row. So It's awesome. And there's some scholarship money. North South Charitable Foundation donates some money for the second year in a row that we're able to apply to help some kids that are less fortunate, and it's hard for them to come up with all the money. So that helps as well. So with that, I would recommend approving this year's trip to Costa Rica.
We'll make that motion.
Second.
Bob made the motion, Aaron seconded to approve the trip to Costa Rica as presented. Discussion. All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed, the same. Motion passes. To reports. Michael.
Okay, it's pretty short. Busy month, business office, getting, like Josh alluded to there with the count and preparations. Fall bed staff is the next big thing on the list, and we're rounding the last turn on that. We had a really productive audit with Kay Chapman, her audit group. Really excited about the relationship developing there. So she had a lot of really good ideas for us in terms of, things that have plagued our audit for a long time. So excited about that. And that's that. We're just gonna shift on to annual reporting and quarterly claims. So good month.
Any questions? All right, Mr. Aaron.
In lieu of time, I'm going to forego my report this week. I've got some pictures in there just of the updated projects that have kind of wrapping up here just in the summer. So I'll take any questions if anybody has any.
Mr. Kenny.
Couple shout outs here to start. Mike Hahn, who is taking care of the football field and like all of our painting and stuff all fall. A lot of work, especially given the drought and things like that. We got a lot of compliments on how good our facilities look, so thank you to him. And then Paul and Ann King are our night custodians at the high school. I don't know if you guys remember homecoming. Like all I could think of was like those poor janitors when those guys come in after the game with the mud and all that crud. Volleyball games, all that, they keep our school looking good, so thank you to those guys. Fall sports wrapping up. First round volleyball is tomorrow night, and then state qualifying meet for cross country is on Thursday. So we're kind of wrapping those things up. Hopefully not for a little while yet, but one loss at this point, and you're done for the year. Then shout out to Mike Vandenhall and our other athletic trainers, and then his student assistants, football managers, whatever. They're all over the place all the time helping him out. So. It was a busy fall for Mike and those guys, so very thankful for them to help support our students. And then our cross country results here at the bottom. Boys got second overall. You can see some of the individual qualifiers there, or place winners. And our girls got ninth, so our conference has 15 teams, so they had a respectable finish there as well. Ashlyn Sauser, 8th, she's a freshman, so that's pretty exciting stuff for her. And then FFA this week is going to be doing their Adopt a Highway. I want to say Steve Bunn does it too with them. And I think he might be at year 27 or something like that. He makes a post on Facebook every year. I should have looked it up before I came, but that'll be cool. Cool tradition that they have kept going for a really long time. And then I guess I forgot to put it on here. I will have pictures next time. The tennis courts are done and they're sweet. So if you haven't driven by and looked down yet, they're pretty cool. So. Yeah, that's it. Oh, choir concert tonight in 20 minutes too. So.
All right. Ms. Jacobs.
All right, on the happy side of things, bugs are not scary, as our first graders found out in their media lessons and had a field trip. Well, not a field trip. Had Fontana come in to teach them. So there's some pictures of some of our first graders getting to hold some spiders, and they all got to get some little tiny plastic ones too, which we're finding all over the school now. So that's pretty great. On the healthy side of things, Parks and Rec volleyball wrapped up last night. Many of the girls were very excited to tell me they won both of their games in their doubleheader last night, which is funny because that also means that a lot of our kids lost both their games in their doubleheader last night. But we have so many of our kids playing that and flag football, so it's always super exciting when they ask you to come out to their games, and it means a lot, and they're just getting after it, and it's super cute. And then on the awesome side of things, look at the cute pictures. Aren't they adorable? Fire Safety Week was last week, and obviously I'm not biased at all, but we had readers in school, and we did fire station visits and did a fire drill, so really leaned heavy into some of that stuff. So it was a blast all around, and Yeah, lots of fun.
Any questions? Okay, we'll move on to Ms. Adams.
This past week, we had our first state site visit for ESSA. The blessing and the curse is that the state has never really worked with a virtual school that has students that are struggling, so we're kind of piloting with them what it looks like to help our students achieve. This Odyssey has taken on a student from a surrounding district. So this is something new for us. We are considered full at this point. We have 8 students in Odyssey. We're full. We also have a student in Odyssey that is on the verge of going out for half days instead of just 1 class a day. So 3 of our students have worked to get out back to their peers, and one of them is working his way right up to half days. So we've had a lot of success over the past year.
Any questions? Mr. Burton.
Okay, a couple things I wanted to highlight here. Obviously, PBIS, the Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports, is a district-wide initiative at the middle school level. Hopefully the graphic pulls up there. Just want to highlight kind of what we're focusing on this year, attendance, tardies, and referrals. So at this point, in comparison to last year, attendance is up a little bit. Tardies, this is the first year we've tracked that at the building level. And then referrals are down, so trending so far, anyway, the direction we want to be going, so that's a good thing, obviously. We're doing what's called the staff's shout out page, just a chance for staff members to throw some positive accolades at their colleagues, some of the cool things that they're doing. So that's been a good addition, and then we're doing Mission Mondays, so every Monday, the PBIS team sends out kind of a goal or mission for staff to focus on that week. The last one we did was pretty cool. It was called the 10 by 2, where each staff member for 10 straight days picks one student that they meet with, have a positive conversation with for at least 2 minutes. So we had 70% completion rate on that, which was pretty good for the first time we've done it, but really just trying to promote some of those positive relationships between staff and students. So that was another positive thing happening. We've got our fall celebration day coming up real soon, where we take the morning and focus on work completion for students that are behind with the end of the term coming up. And then we celebrate attendance, academics, EDGE Students of the Month, who are nominated by teachers in the building there. So we'll give some awards for that, and then just have some fun games and activities in the afternoon as well. So that's coming up. I'll have a little better rundown of that next month for you guys and whatnot. Just a couple thank yous as far as that goes. Sugar Shack in town is donating like 250 cookies and some cups of frosting for kids to frost the cookies and decorate and stuff for one of our activities. And then the Fayette County Conservation is going to let us utilize their hay wagon for some hay rides and whatnot that day as well. So that'll be pretty cool too. Fall assessments concluded. Ms. Smock every year does her 5th grade kindness retreat. That was October 4th, right at the beginning of October, and just a cool event. My first time getting able to experience that. So basically just getting to know each other, getting to know themselves a little bit better, and just the power of positivity and what that can do for each of them. So yeah, pretty special event that was going on there. There were 16 high school students that came back, and they had an opportunity. Yeah, exactly. So they obviously got to experience this as 5th graders from that realm, so coming back and kind of getting a different perspective as counselors was pretty cool too for them. Rittersing Music Festival at Wartburg. Mrs. Grumman took a group of 9 middle school males to this festival at Wartburg. That's all about encouraging tenor and bass singers to continue music now, and then as they progress through high school and beyond. So just another good opportunity for our students. So thank you, Ms. Grumman, for that. And then just concluded our fall activities. Wrap that up and gonna get rolling with the winter ones here very shortly. So Lot happening at OMS. Any questions for me?
Mr. Patrick?
Yeah, real quick, special recognition to Mr. Anderson, Ms. Roth, and Mr. Gallant. They all attended a 3-day training called OAS, and OAS is kind of the gold standard of anti-bullying, and it's a comprehensive program that really works towards how do we prevent, not just talk about or like deal with it, the others, but like that bully prevention piece. They actually attended with 41, with educators from 41 different states over Zoom here. It was really cool to see. We already have efforts going, and we have a Hearts Club and Awareness and Acceptance Club, but really looking to dovetail this work in. And, those are the three perfect people to do it. Like they're really committed to the equity of all students. It's really cool to see. Just like Mr. Hurley said, our students have kind of gotten into every building at some point this year. We have students who go down to Wings for different events. We just hooked up a cross-country runner as a mentor in the junior high for a student that's struggling there. And then really cool, I got to go down and just see our concert that you're going to see tonight. Did a little preview for the kindergartners, and not to give you a spoiler, but one of the songs is Old McDonald's, and it's amazing. Like, if you don't see anything else, just go see Old McDonald. Don't tell Darcy I said that, but it was cool. Healthy. Mr. Lape and Mr. Vanderloop put up these flying tents. I think Mr. Amy maybe shared this out too, but looks so cool if you go down our senior hallway. It was so bleak and dull, and then you see that, it's like, oh, cool. So the idea is there, you take a selfie in front of kind of the speed you're at and kind of work up and brag about our kiddos and how they're improving. And they've shown you the data here before about how they just killed this. Really awesome. Probably one of my favorite things is just getting kids out of our building. They cause us, a lot of work, a lot of lift to get kids out, but the things they see are awesome. They've been to Gator Manufacturing and Independence, which does government contracts all over. They went to Kendrick, which I didn't know this is sawmill. You guys probably knew, but in Edgewood, they mill their own stuff and they make their own things. Like, it's right there. So our kids went and saw that. Really inspiring. They went to Alpha Trailers as well, and then Mr. Gearhart even took, this was last week with Mr. Cassidy and Mr. Sorensen, but just today Mr. Gearhart took 4 classes to East Penn and did that. So they've gotten out all over, and those are just a couple of the experiences. We really try to push kiddos out and not just push them out. Try to give them experiences and let them go back. So, that's it.
All right, upcoming meeting, I guess we'll vote on the 7th.
Yes, gotta vote on the 7th.
Yes. And then our next meeting is the 10th.
Last meeting.
It is gonna be our last meeting?
We think so. As long as Buchanan County can get us their stuff up to Fayette, we'll have the, we might get it on Monday, but we'll plan on it. Man, it would be terrible if we had to have 2 meetings for them.
Christmas present, All right. Just need to adjourn. Oh no, we're skipping comments. Do you guys have any comments?
I got one.
Yes. We did up here, yeah.
Emailing Josh this week about it. Maybe with the new board, I would like to review policy 802.6 regarding student activity funds. It was something that I didn't know about, and then Josh said it was made by a prior board. But I think maybe with the new board, maybe review it and see if it still aligns with, how we feel. I have a few thoughts on it, so I think it'd be worthy to bring up.
Sure.
Okay. Anything else? You want to rush us, but we haven't. Okay. I just need a motion to adjourn. Aaron made a motion, Joey seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Same. 6:49.